This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 217 of This is the G Podcast. Yes. Oh, yeah, I'm Tommy B. Each week we do news, politics, pop culture, and that piping hot tea from the one and only Tanya B. Syracuse Mike has your news update. The Newsmaker crew is here. Hitman Howie, Talib, and political analyst Harold Michael Harvey will help us make sense of the DA Fani Willis and Fulton County situation. Plus, another round of Newsmaker trivia is on the way. But first, let's get into news with Syracuse Mike.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
This is not an attempt to ban TikTok. It's an attempt to make TikTok better.
That's former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who joined the majority in voting to basically ban TikTok in the U.S. if its Chinese owner, ByteDance, does not sell it in about 5 months. For years, lawmakers have been concerned that the popular app is a national security threat and that the Chinese government has already used it to meddle in U.S. elections. Plus, it can be used to gather information about its users.
We are in a Cold War with China, and some of my colleagues want to ignore this fact. We have legislation before us that is 12 pages long. The bill is not a ban. It forces foreign adversaries, including Chinese communists, to divest.
That's Congressman Chip Roy, a bipartisan measure passed in the House Wednesday by a vote of 352 to 65. It now heads to the Senate, where its fate is unclear. President Biden says if the bill gets to his desk, he will sign it. Kamala Harris became the first sitting vice president to visit an abortion clinic, according to the White House.
So I'm here at this healthcare clinic to uplift the work that is happening in Minnesota as an example of what true leadership looks like.
As you just heard, Thursday, Harris visited an abortion clinic in Minnesota in a move seen as a strong signal about the importance the Biden campaign is placing on reproductive rights in the 2024 presidential campaign. As of this week, it's been 4 years since Breonna Taylor was killed. The 26-year-old died when she was shot by a Louisville police officer during a raid on her apartment in 2020. No officer has been found criminally responsible for her death. Former officer Brent Hankinson has been acquitted of state charges of reckless behavior and faces a third trial in October. America's highest-ranking Jewish lawmaker wants Benjamin Netanyahu replaced as Israel's top leader. The reaction in Washington Thursday ranged from surprise to strong disapproval. It was about the same reaction in Israel, and the White House didn't say much about Democrat and Senate leader Chuck Schumer's speech.
Prime Minister Netanyahu has lost his way by allowing his political survival to take the precedence over the best interests of Israel.
Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson blasted Schumer's remarks as highly inappropriate and wrong. Schumer criticized Israel for failing to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and called for a new election in Israel. He also believes Hamas needs to be removed. Haiti's acting prime minister, Ariel Henry, who has been kept from returning home, has decided to resign. That was one of the demands from the armed gangs who have pretty much taken over Port-au-Prince. A team of U.S. Marines has been sent in to provide security for the U.S. Embassy there due to civil unrest. Judge Scott McAfee has ruled that Fulton County DA Fani Willis and her office can continue to prosecute former President Trump and several others. Those charged in the Georgia election interference case had sought to have Willis removed because of her personal relationship with prosecutor Nathan Wade, who she hired to assist her office. One of Trump's co-defendants filed a motion for Willis to be disqualified because of that alleged improper personal relationship. There was an implication that Willis benefited financially from the relationship with Wade. Judge McAfee did find the appearance of impropriety and said that should result in either Willis and her office leaving the case, or she can simply remove Wade. And he decided to resign just hours after the judge's decision.
Thanks for the headlines, Mike. Talib, Hitman Howie, and author, political analyst Harold Michael Harvey are here. Yes, so go ahead. Give it up.
What's up?
Thank you, Howie and Mr. Harvey, for joining us this week, by the way. Vi's out this week. We've also got our trivia contestant. Let me see who this is here. Is this Linnell from L.A.?
Yes, it's Linnell from Cali.
From Cali?
West side. West side.
And it says,
yeah.
It says, see, play along. Say Linnell, it says you're a Laker. You remember Laker Nation. So before we get started, I
Say
did.
what?
You remember Laker Nation? The Laker Nation.
Born purple and gold blood, I believe.
All right. So this week. So no. This year, will they take home a championship? Before we get into it,
We definitely contending. Let's go.
why you say
We
that?
definitely.
You
We
believe?
can, I absolutely believe it.
Okay. You LeBron 100%.
Well, I'm Laker. LeBron's on the team.
Right. Now we talking. That don't sound
Yeah,
like a bandwagon right there. That is
No,
not a
baby.
bandwagon.
No, baby.
Purple and gold. Purple and gold.
I'm gonna go, baby.
There we go. All right, Linnell, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, go ahead, Talib. You got question number one.
Sure. The question is, this Georgia county led the news this week as the county of the DA, Fani Willis, and the Georgia election interference trial. Name that county.
Now, see, I know this one. It's Fulton County.
Yes.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, baby.
Good. Very good.
Mhm.
All right, Howard, you got number two. Go ahead, Howard.
All right, question number 2. This movie, based on the man who developed the first nuclear weapon during World War II, took the Best Picture Oscar at this week's Academy Awards. Name that movie.
I know Oppenheimer. Started.
Oppenheimer.
There you go.
Am I close?
Excellent.
Yes, you are. You are correct.
Okay.
That's
I've
right.
been watching TV this week.
She don't even need number three. Y'all give it up for her. Yes. All right, Linnell, you get the book, and if you're watching this, he is holding up. Go ahead, Mr. Harvey's holding up the Watch Night book, but I know you're on the phone with us right now. But thank you so
Yes.
much, and good. Congratulations.
Man, thank you so much. This was fun. Let's do it again.
All right.
Sign up
You
again.
guys can call me anytime.
Good deal.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
All right,
Linnell. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
All right, another winner. Yes,
There you
another
go.
winner. See now, Vi said my questions were too hard last week, so yeah, that was fair. Fair enough.
Vi's not up on
Very
current
fair.
events. Huh?
That's what I'm talking about.
Vi out there honey bunching. He can't keep up with the current events.
You said that. See,
I'm telling you, new hair will do that, man. You know, right? New hair will do it.
that lock journey. Yes. Again, thank you, Linnell, for playing. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, y'all. I've got to say hi again to and friend of the show, Harold Michael Harvey. Thank you so much for coming on this week. It is as always, we're in the midst of it. It's 2024. I think everybody thought and knew that it was going to be a contentious 2024. So, again, has DA Fani Willis dodged a bullet in this Fulton County case? Harold Michael Harvey.
I guess we can characterize it as she having dodged a bullet because she could have very easily, she could have been removed from the case altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And at least she maintains control of the prosecution.
Mm-hmm. So according to sources, and as we tape this, some things have occurred. Now that Attorney Nathan Wade has stepped down, she can't continue because that was one of the stipulations. Mm-hmm. And of course, they found no financial gain. That was not proven as alleged by Trump. But the judge's criticism was pretty brutal. A deep criticism in the way she casually handled the relationship. Mm-hmm. And he doubled down on the appearance of impropriety. And also one more thing I want to mention is that she does face a gag order. He's pointed to her speech in the church where she used the race card and a few other instances, and it basically he suggested she be prepared for a gag order. Your thoughts on that, Mr. Harvey?
Well, yeah, I think you cleared that up. She's not under a gag order.
No.
But he did say that potentially if her public announcements may lead to that down the road, and if so, he would revisit that issue if it arises again.
Mhm.
I thought the criticism was unfair, was too harsh. She obviously exercised poor judgment, and that's not the first instance that we have seen Fani Willis exercise poor judgment. She exercised poor judgment when she when she donated, or at least solicited donations for a candidate in the race for Secretary of State, and the Republican contender for that post was also among the people that she was looking to indict, at least to investigate at that point in time.
That was Ben Jones, correct?
Ben Jones, that's correct.
Mhm.
I think that he may have been your congressman at that time.
Okay. Not mine in particular, but yeah, I know exactly where he was. Yeah.
But in any event, I thought the overall criticism was unfair, and I hate to play the race card, but I'm not playing the race card. I'm just being a black man in America. And what we tend to find from white people is they don't understand us because they don't want to understand us.
Right.
But they tend to criticize us more severely for the same type of alleged conduct than they criticize white people in this society.
Mhm.
You know, that hearing, he could have determined whether or not there was a conflict of interest, whether or not there was any appearance of a conflict of interest without the public show.
Yeah.
We know more about the intimate sex life of Wade and Willis, more so than we need to know.
Right.
We didn't have to know all of that for him to make a legal determination whether or not the district attorney should have been removed from the case. He could have conducted that in a different fashion and not allow some of this salacious stuff to come to the fore. And then now you look at it, all the salacious stuff, the charges were raised by white attorneys against black attorneys.
Right.
Okay. And in his order, he also referred Wade. What was Wade's partner's name?
Well, we know we don't know his name, but I'll get no worries.
And Willis to the state bar. He also referred Willis to the Fulton County Commission's ethics. Not the ethics board. The ethics board in Fulton County has already ruled on the issue. And in another lifetime, for about 3 or 4 years, I chaired the Fulton County Ethics Board. But the Ethics Board already determined that she was a constitutional officer and they have no jurisdiction over her. But they asked the Fulton County Commission to determine whether or not that was any misuse of county funds that they had received from the state. And I think there's some other tribunal that he has forwarded their names for referrals. So there's still trouble for Wade and for his former law partner and for Fani Willis. And I believe it's just this whole continuum of racism in America where black people get judged more harshly than their white counterparts. I don't care what you say. Nothing that Fani Willis said at the Big Bethel, I think AME Church back in January was racist. It didn't play the race card. She called it like it was. They singled out Wade because he made a lot of money in 2 years. So effing what?
Yeah.
You know, he did the work, he made the money, but white people are always unnerved when black people make money. And then they try to backdoor you to do something about it, to say that somehow you stealing money. You work for the money. But that's my thoughts on that issue.
All right, I'm gonna go to Talib. Talib, thoughts?
Yeah, couple of them. Really, I have to agree pretty much with everything Mr. Harvey said. But my concern is that what is the worst case scenario that could happen to Fani Willis at this point? You know, so if they're recommended to a state board, does that mean that she could be disbarred? If so, or, you know, ethics could there be some kind of ethics violation that would hinder her from performing her duties? And like you, and being that you said yes, then what happens to this case if that happens before she resumes with the trial?
Well, I would. The state bar's investigation would take a long time, and they will probably have a decision maybe sometime next year, maybe this time, before they're ready to do anything. Now, the referral to the Fulton County Commission could lead to criminal charges. If somehow she inappropriately used funds, that could lead to a criminal charge. And of course, they're investigating her in the Georgia State Senate. That was the other tribunal, and that will probably cause the state of Georgia to enact legislation that would give them a real heavy-handed control over not only Fani Willis's office, but all district attorney offices in the state.
Right,
and that's implications.
Right, and then we've lost the trial at that point because they've already there's already been congressional interference, and from I believe James Jordan, who's trying to talk to Fani Willis about either lessening the charges or to have her answer to Congress. I remember there being something to that effect.
Yeah, he subpoenaed
right.
all the documents. Yeah,
right,
correct.
So, so
Jim Jordan. Yep.
Right, Jim Jordan. So if realistically, if something happens to Fani Willis based upon this judge's recommendations, this trial is pretty much over, and Trump gets exactly what he wants. Because who's going to really take? We've already seen that there have been 5 people who were approached to be the special counsel, and 5 people turned it down. This was the 6th person. So from just the testimony on that should have been like, well, really, this was her dude was number 5. Obviously, she's not playing a favorite.
Yeah.
We should, if common sense really was a prevalent resource these days, we shouldn't have really had to even go past that.
There you go. That's my point. I agree.
So, so again, my concern, I'm not concerned about who Fani is engaging with. That is of no concern of mine. The extent of their relationship is none of my business, and it's more none of my business after all of this public display than ever. But again, what happens to the trial? Like I said, there's already been congressional interference. There are people who want to see this, taken care of and have the money to be able to sweep this under the rug. Trump's strategy is always delay, and then when I can't push it off anymore, try and do something else to get this thing just totally dismissed. So
personal attacks.
Right. What happens to this trial? What happens to a possible conviction on election interference?
I'm gonna let you answer that, Mr. Harvey, and then we'll go to you. We'll let you wrap it up, Howie. Go ahead, Mr. Harvey.
I just wanted to bring in another specter to this case, and that is that Judge McAfee drew opposition in the upcoming election in May from Robert Patillo, a black conservative Democrat. Now, I always thought that Patillo was a conservative Republican, but in his announcement that he was running against McAfee, he's listed as a conservative Democrat. Now,
back in the day, though, Mr. Harvey, compared to the Republicans now, he probably is a conservative Democrat.
No, we never had a conservative Democrat.
No, I'm just saying, and when not technically, but when you look at the platforms compared to the MAGA now, he probably is. But I get your point. Go ahead.
All right. So the election is the primary is in May.
Yeah.
Right.
There are 3 candidates in the race. No, excuse me. There's so it'll be McAfee versus Patillo. Okay. If somehow Patillo is able to persuade enough Fulton Countyans to vote for him, then McAfee is going to be out of office at the end of the year. So he could be off the case. And of course, Willis also drew 2 opponents in the May primary. One person who identifies as a MAGA Republican, and one who identifies as a Democrat. So if she is able to get 51% of the vote, she's still on the case. But if she doesn't, she's off the case at the end of the year if the case doesn't go to trial before the end of the year. I just wanted to bring those 2 elections to the forefront.
Okay, final thought on this, Howie.
Well, a few things. One, I'm less concerned about the referral boards. I think she'll do fine with those, the state referral boards that the judge referred her to. My concern is about the Senate. They had something on the books already. Then last year, the Kemp re-signed something saying that they can go after these DAs if they don't think they're in line with them or if they're breaking the laws. That's why I'm kind of concerned with the state house being, controlled by the Republicans on both sides. That's where I see she may have an issue. But I think long term she'll be fine. My concern with Fani Willis is, like my parents used to tell me, if you go in with the idea that if you do something wrong or that you're not measured with the same stick, don't go and try to be like them. Some things we can't do. When I say we can't do, we know what the outcome is, but we know ultimately what our goal is, and we should try and align ourselves with our goal. I thought, and Thomas and we had a conversation about this, I thought the church was not the right place to come out for her first comments. I think she should have had the news people there. She came out with her comments, said them there, and then the church could have been second. We talked about safe space and all. I can understand that, but I think that was like Mr. Harvey said, a poor decision on her part, along with a few other things. But ultimately, I think in the long run, she'll be good. The issue I have is it's just going to delay the trial, and that's falling into what Trump wants, and it may not happen prior to the election, and that's where the issue is for me. But overall, I think she'll be fine.
Okay, last word, Mr. Harvey. Just a minute.
Let me bring this to the forefront, okay? Because I don't think the general public knows, and it goes directly to Howie's comment that he believes Willis will be fine in the state bar investigation. Well, there is a class action lawsuit working its way through the federal court system, alleging that the state bar of Georgia disciplines black attorneys more severely than they do the white attorney. So all's not fair over there, and I'm watching that case very, very closely.
Okay.
Good stuff.
That is good stuff.
All right, I'm going to move on. I'll let you wrap it up at the end, Howie, because we got a couple more things to get. Talib, we got a couple more things to get to. So
I got you.
I'll get you. The next thing, this TikTok ban. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but the House passed a bill that requires TikTok owners, the owner ByteDance, to sell the platform or face a total ban in the U.S. And it wasn't even close. 352 members to 65 voted no. And the bill is on to the Senate, and it's not clear if it'll pass in the Senate. And if banned, and the reason we're talking about this is we're talking about 170 million users. Okay. And the U.S. feels as if TikTok is collecting sensitive data and giving it to the Chinese government. They argue that the data is not being held in China. Well, ByteDance is arguing that the data is not being held in China. It's being held in Singapore and the U.S. I want to go to you, Talib, real quick, because, you are DJ. you kind of work in a lot of your followers, a lot of your friends, a lot of folks are on TikTok. A lot of small business people are on TikTok. You've been a business owner. We've all, owned a business. So what are your thoughts, Talib?
There's a bunch of different thoughts, but I'm waiting and hoping that Senator Rand Paul can exercise some of his independent influence, as it seems that he's one of the few senators who are actually campaigning for this ban not to happen. It's funny that America still eats its young, and we see that in every generation for my generation, I felt like it was the PMRC, the Parents Music Resource Center, Tipper Gore's the organization.
Mm-hmm. Stickers on albums.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There were no explicit, there were no real warning labels on records before, or albums before the PMRC came around. And Luke Skywalker, the famous case, where they took Luke to court for his explicit lyrics, seemed like it was just an attack on the youth, because hip hop was the youth movement. And with a lot of the angst that was happening through the musics, not just hip hop, but, heavy metal, punk rock, these expressions of the youth were concerning to middle America. And TikTok seems to be caught in that same energy right now. Not only is it the number one social media platform for people under the age of like 25, but just like you said, Thomas, there are a lot of businesses that are using TikTok. There are a lot of who to gain followers and to motivate customers. There are people who are just straight content creators who are deriving, their incomes from this. There are people who are advertising through this social media platform and are able to, make money, earn careers, or earn a living from this one social media platform. So for America to take this, for these American politicians to take this stance so aggressively against it, especially knowing that this is not a company that's owned by the Chinese government. Okay. There's international. It's an international
conglomerate
corporation, right?
Okay.
So again, the propaganda is in effect, and it's really going to be hurting us, because this is another one of these situations where it was, in terms of content creators, it's backwardly integrated.
Yeah, I want to mention this real quick. My issue with this is, if TikTok goes away, it puts all the power back into Meta, which is Facebook,
right?
Threads, Instagram, and so on and so forth. And I'll be quite honest, here, they are not squeaky clean. There's still major issues on the platform with the cloning of accounts, and we saw this happen in the last election, where you had accounts being cloned. I mean, who has not gotten an instant message from an old classmate who starts talking about the program? And you say, who are you? There's so many cloned accounts, and a lot of this we don't know how. It's nefarious. We don't know where it's coming from. So I can already see the writing on the wall when it comes down to TikTok. If it goes away, it's got 6 months to make a decision on this. But in terms of, I see backlash, definitely when it comes down to political backlash from 170 million users.
Right. I just want to
go ahead.
I just want to say that where is this capitalism?
Yeah. But it's interesting, though, Talib, when we go back and we look at the number of people in Congress, the overwhelming number who voted for the ban. Like in Georgia, only 2 people didn't vote for the ban, and that was Nikema Williams and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Who knew? These 2 polar opposites, but those are the only 2 people who did not vote in favor of the ban. I want to go to you, Harold Michael Harvey, and then go to you, Howard.
Well, while the company may be an independent international company, the president of the company actually sits on the Chinese political board, and I think that's the issue that the U.S. government has with TikTok, and the reason that the bill is even being considered is because what our intelligence community tells us, if you can trust them, Trump didn't or doesn't. They say that the Communist Party, the Chinese Communist Party, has an inroad to all of the data on all of the 170 million Americans who use TikTok. So it's not so much, I don't think the legislators, the representatives are voting the anti-capitalism or they're trying to harm people in business. I think that the central focus is whether or not the Chinese government has some influence over on this site. And if it does, it is a dangerous thing. I think there needs to be some more study, and I think the government needs to explain to us what the dangers are, if there are any dangers, and if there are not any dangers, explain to us that they're not any.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I've heard that in the debate so far.
I agree with you. I'm gonna stop you there because there has not been transparency in terms of the why. There's not been transparency to the American people. That's one of the things AOC, who did not vote with Congress on this. That was one of the things that she was concerned about, in terms of transparency to the American public. Why not hold a public hearing and release the information or not release individual information, but talk about why you're so concerned. Now, here's my thing, and I'll throw it to you, Howard, and we'll move to the next thing. But I do want to say all these hacks, it's just like as we tape, McDonald's got hacked just the day before. They were basically, their IT system was shut down for a few hours. We've had the issue with AT&T. We have multiple issues this year. Now, when in our conspiracy theory corner, a lot of people feel that it's a test, that a lot of these situations where these companies are being shut down, you're having these governments that are basically being held ransom, these school systems being held ransom, that it's a, how do you say it? It's a test for a larger hack. And, you see what happens and how it's going down with these entities, but just think about that if it goes national. So you can understand the concern, but on the other hand, there has to be some kind of transparency. But again, what was the act that George Bush passed, the big one, Harold Michael Harvey, when we had 9/11? I forgot the name of it.
I can't call the name of the act either, but
the
broad powers.
Right, when you can go in and listen and take people and listen to them and all. Yes, I can't think of it either.
Right, the broad power when when America's at risk as a whole. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody brings that up. Last point to you to leave, and then we'll go to final takes. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just very curious to see how this is all going to play out in an election year where there are so many young people that are mobilizing through this app, and that all goes away. It's going to be, I'm not just talking to, the girl shaking booty is great on TikTok, but, there's so much more to this app.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I heard, and there was a restaurant owner talking about how much money they've saved and how much access TikTok has given them to their customers versus having to beg the magazines, right? The food magazines,
right?
And
think about the Keith Lee situation. That was big here in Atlanta. I went to a spot just out of not even realizing, and everything in their window said, "Hey, we're Keith Lee approved." You know what I mean? That kind of mobilization through the grassroots, street promotions type, real ground floor, organic movement is what they are fighting against.
Yeah, so true.
And I can understand all that other stuff, is it a security risk and everything? Yes, we do need to know for sure that there is no backdoor to the Chinese government. But, from what Rand Paul said on his little Fox News interview, all of this software runs through Oracle.
Okay.
So, I know he's probably on the take, but he said, it's like,
Somebody's getting it.
Somebody, right. Hey, look, man, these guys, this is again, once again, it's another one of these situations where it's sleight of hand. There's some backdoor deal going on for somebody, and now we're getting, the American people are getting caught in it, and I'm really getting tired of this dynamic.
Yeah, it's like the devil you know or the devil you don't know.
Right.
That's true.
Last word on this, Howard.
We talked about this. My brother and I always talk about follow the money. One of the large investors in Meta is one person who's pushing this TikTok ban thing with the public. So if you follow the money, you'll find out where it's coming from. But on the other side, TikTok is, this Texas project has put out about $1.5 billion just saying, hey, we're housing all this data here in America. You don't have to be concerned about it. So somewhere I'm sure they're going to come together. There's another group that's trying to buy TikTok outright. That's to try to keep it here on American soil as well. So I'm sure they'll come to something because the dollars are going to tell us what's going to happen.
Yeah, so true. Last word. What's your big take of the week, Talib?
You know me, I had a couple ready, but then just 5 minutes before we were scheduled to go on air, Kamala Harris finally says something that I can totally agree with. And she says that marijuana needs to be rescheduled as quickly as possible. So you know what this really means.
Did the hair on your neck stand up?
Well, my mouth started watering. No, but seriously, the situation. There was a meeting at the White House. Rapper Fat Joe was in attendance. Kentucky Governor Beshear was in attendance. And they're really just she's really trying to get this thing rescheduled. So there is going to be, we'll probably see the push in this happening, but what it really means is that, edibles will now be available at places that they aren't right now. And we're not going to see a very motivated public.
I could see the handwriting on the wall for this when John Boehner started a farm.
Right.
When John Boehner, former speaker, got into who I hated, but between what he did to Obama. But when he went into cannabis after getting out of office, the handwriting was on the wall that eventually this was going to happen. All right, let's go to you, Howie. What's your big take?
My final take of the week is Haiti. It is the United States and other countries have allowed that to work its way down to just nothing. And gangs are now running former prisoners. They let 4,000 prisoners out of the jail. What I think need to happen is the Western world need to put a 25, 50-year plan together and just work it out where that becomes another playground for travelers. Everybody will win. People have jobs and working and opportunities. We'll have another Caribbean island per se to go to. But we can do better with Haiti. But since they don't look like other people, they're not as excited to go down and do something about it. But I think the fix is easier than what we're saying it is.
Yeah, I agree. It amazes me. It seems like they've left it up to the religious community over the years to go in and fix Haiti, and that's not working.
Right.
You see a lot of churches, and I'm not criticizing the churches because there's a need for feeling to be philanthropic and and deliver food and medicines and help for the children there. But as a whole, the structure's always been tough, and not to mention the earthquakes and some of the national disasters have even made the country even more fragile.
Difficult.
So it's been tough. Go ahead.
Isn't that a tactic of the American government? They depress until it's worth nothing, and then they go in there, take the iridium and whatever other little natural resources Haiti has, and the next thing you know, it is built up, and then we're all supposed to be happy. But again, for iridium, to be as large as in as large deposits as it is in Haiti, and for it to be worth more than gold and Bitcoin?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we know what's going on in Haiti. Plus, you know, Haiti was the first revolution.
Exactly.
They've never cared about that country. The Europeans have always shat upon that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good point.
So,
Good point.
You know, unless we're going to start doing some mining, I mean, I don't see nothing else.
But I think whatever we can do, even of course, it has to be some quid pro quo. And if you talk capitalism, which I have a whole different conversation about that, but if you're talking about some quid pro quo, yes, we allow businesses to go in there and get something if that's going to ultimately buoyancy the country. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I'm with that too. But man, something has to be done, brother. You see
it's
what's
a humanitarian
going on.
crisis.
Man, look, man.
Right, exactly. People being burned in the street. That's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Something's got to be done. Something's got to be done now. All right, your last word. You got a big take, Harold Michael Harvey.
Yeah. First of all, full disclosure, I actually have a marijuana stock in my stock portfolio. And,
there you go.
And so that Kamala Harris is that was good news. That was good news to me. But I would suggest to anybody listening that most of the cannabis stocks are down.
Mm-hmm.
You probably get them for less than $5.
Right.
Okay.
You know, it may be worth it. I bought years ago, probably back in 16 or 17. Okay. And I bought it at a higher rate than what it's selling for today, but I just knew if I held on long enough, I thought the turn was going to come in 24. It's probably 25, but now it's probably the time for other people to get in because you can get in at a lower price than the price point I had to pay to get in. And you can make you some money because once they reschedule it, the American public is going to use it.
Exactly.
And that's across all generations. Now, my takeaway from this week is that given what happened in the multiple Trump cases in New York, in Florida, and in Washington, and in Georgia, the only way you're going to defeat this guy and say democracy is a groundswell of voter support in November. So you got to get out and vote this guy out of office. Legally, we think that the judicial system is where we could handle situations like this, but the guy is he has so much money, and he is so powerful because he has been the president of the United States of America. Yeah. And he put his hands on different people to help him accomplish his goal of delay. That's the only way you're going to beat him is going to be at the ballot box. So, we just got to get serious about that.
Well, you just shortened the show because you took my take. So, I mean, that was my point. It's hard to believe that with all the current delays, the experts are saying pretty much that there will be no verdicts before election 2024. They're already saying it. I mean, the last ray of hope, I think, was is the Stormy Daniels situation, and that's in jeopardy right now. But people were counting on Fulton County as the blow, and then you look at what's going on with the documents case, Jack Smith, same situation there. Everything's being delayed. So I think that's sad for America because we need to know. We need the truth before people. But you know what? Unfortunately, there's some people who won't even accept the truth. So
exactly,
so you got to go vote. You got to go vote.
Yeah, you got to go vote.
And I guess my last take, and I'll just give it to you. Sorry, Falcon fans, they did it anyway. And you know what? I'm just gonna go along with cousin them for now, and I'll just say, don't complain about the salary cap when you can't get defensive players and offensive linemen. That's all. Do not complain about it. I'll leave it at that. For those who know, I'm not going to go into detail. One last thing to leave.
One last takeaway for the week also is please, everybody, make sure you check your voter registration online before you attempt to go to the polls.
It's a big deal. Yes.
They got me this year. You know,
really?
I've been in my spot. Yeah, I've been in my spot for 2 years. So actually less than 2 years. So I thought everything was cool. I get out to the poll the day of, and they're like, your residence has been challenged.
Wow.
And I could not participate. So
yeah.
You know,
you
Marion
gotta
didn't get that one, man. You know what I mean? I
but
was there.
I agree.
But really, we have to do this because we are aware that they are doing everything that they can to remove people. And
Brother
I
Talib,
thought
do you think you were challenged just based on name alone? Because nobody knows who you are per se. Do you think they just go down the list and say his name sounds different?
I think they just looked at addresses,
right,
and was like, boom, 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 boom. You know, whatever little artificial algorithm that they can come up with now, to look at stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah. You got to go to mvp.sos.ga. I'll make sure I have that on the podcast page too.
Yeah. Okay.
Because here's the other thing, and I'll wrap it with this. There are situations where a lot of these counties, a lot of these districts have been redrawn. And there have already been complaints that everything's not been updated on the Secretary of State's office when it comes down to the map, when it comes down to the districts, when it comes down to people being in new districts. A lot of people don't even know what district they're in because it came down toward the end of the year. And you have to be more aggressive, especially now. Harold Michael Harvey mentioned that the primary is coming up here in Georgia, May 21st. Don't wait think you have to wait until November, because in a lot of areas, the primaries will affect you, and you may not even be aware of it. So go check, especially if you're in Georgia. All right. Love getting your feedback, positive or negative. Go to castropolis.net, choose the people poll, leave us a voicemail. Would love your feedback. Thank you again, Harold Michael Harvey. Thank you so much, sir. Hold that book up one more time for us. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Watch night.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Linnell from LA. Congratulations again for the book. For winning the book. And Howie, Hitman Howie, thank you so much for jumping on for Vi. Talib, as always, brother, thank you so much, man. Hold it down. Hey, this is Tommy B from This Is the G Podcast. I want to encourage all my G's who reside in the area of Jonesboro, Stockbridge, Covington, Conyers, South Gwinnett. That's the new Georgia Congressional District 13 to vote for Karen Renee for Congress. Karen Renee is a true advocate for her constituents and truly believes in empowering the people. Visit electkarenrenee.com for more information and also find out whether you're in the new District 13. Follow her campaign on Facebook at Elect Karen Renee. Let's support a candidate who truly represents the people.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tanya B.
Yes, children, it's time to sip some tea. This is the G Podcast, so your girl Tanya B got that GT for you. Let's just get right to it. Well, you know what? I gotta say this. I told you we started the class of 2024. We tired of y'all, but now we have a valedictorian. His name is Tyrese. Tyrese, we're going to need you to get off social media. We keep telling you it's going to get you in trouble. This time it has. He telling the judge he can't afford to pay child support, and he's not paying child support, hurting the child, not the mama. But he got photos on social media all up and through him tootsie rolling over there in Dubai. You better go on. Tyrese, go sit down. I told you, sit down. Bruno Mars, oh my goodness, Tommy B. Allegedly, he had the little dust up with the that stuff back in the day. I guess he got help and he said he apologized and it was a mistake. But now word from the curb is that he is in to the MGM casino with a gambling debt of 90. I said 90. The dripping in finesse, you dripping in debt. That don't make no sense, Bruno. I'm also hearing he's falling out with Anderson .Paak, so we may never see Silk Sonic again. I hope the Hooligans, the band where Bruno Mars saved their money, but clearly he needs some help, and I hope he gets what he needs, because this may be the reason, Tommy B, why the girlfriend left him. We got to say get well to the godmother of Black Hollywood, one Jennifer Lewis, the queen of the high kick. Now she's talking about this accident she suffered over in the Serengeti, where she fell 10 feet from a hotel, was in excruciating pain, had to get several surgeries, and that's why she's been off the scene for the better part of the last year. But there's a documentary on Hulu about it, and you can also catch on Good Morning America's YouTube channel, just like the G Podcast has a YouTube channel. You can check out the Robin Roberts interview. We just send the godmother well wishes for love, light, health, and healing. You know, real quick about the Oscars. Anybody care? Not me, not really. After Davine Joy Randolph won the Oscar, and I gotta say, shout out to Cord Jefferson. He won for the best adaptation of a screenplay for the film American Fiction, starring Jeffrey Wright and Sterling K. Brown. His first time out the gate, and he won. After that, I was done. Especially after they slapped our mama, Angela Bassett, in the face, in my opinion, by not even airing her acceptance speech from her honorary Oscar, and that ceremony is not even televised, so boo.com on you to the Academy. Also, Ashanti and Nelly back together. No secret she wants a baby. Her mother got real salty when in an interview in Miami, she was congratulated on Ashanti expecting, and Mama was like, no. Who said that? No formal announcement has been made, which means Ashanti want to get that bag, but they're going to have to say something soon because she is showing. Russell Wilson going to the Pittsburgh Steelers for 1 year. You know what? If nothing happens after that, it's okay because he got that $85 million go-away check from those people in Denver. Don Lemon still winning. You know, he got $24.5 million to walk away from CNN, and now Elon Musk threw a tantrum with his not so less than smart self, taking Don Lemon's show off of the platform formerly known as Twitter, which is fine because I don't do Twitter anymore. But I hear there's a bidding war, Tommy B, so who knows where Don Lemon will end up. Beyonce's country album is called, I call it Renaissance too, but it's called Cowboy Carter, drops March 29th. I'm hearing there will be a collaboration with country music icon Dolly Parton. You know, whenever an R&B artist gets a hold of one of her songs, it is cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Well, Mike Epps talked last week, and I think I shared with you about why he didn't get the Richard Pryor role. He claimed that he did not get it because he refused to sleep with Jennifer Lee Pryor, who's the head of Richard Pryor's estate and his last wife, because he wouldn't give up the D. And then she clapped back this week saying, I wouldn't touch Mike Epps with a 10-foot pole. We'll just have to see about that. I got a question. You know that song May said, ain't nothing new but my limp? Something's going on with Oprah and Anita Baker. Do they need, I don't know, knee replacement, hip replacement? Somebody got gout? Because they both are walking, and Anita Baker has been walking for a while with a noticeable limp. I hope it's not anything serious. Don't forget the documentary Shirley about groundbreaking politician Shirley Chisholm in movies this week. Comes to Netflix next week. Produced by Regina King and her sister Raina, who you may remember from What's Happening Now. She played Raj and Nadine's foster child, Carolyn. Yep, they play sisters in the movie, and they also are sisters in real life. That's what's up. Now, let me tell you this. You saw that clip, I know I did, maybe you did, Tommy B, with Kandi Burruss talking about, oh, Tiny's late, she late again for filming. You know Kandi left the Real Housewives of Atlanta. What it is, filming for a new season of the reality show with Escape and SWV. I hope Tiny got there eventually. That's all I got, ain't got no more. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. Go to the G Podcast YouTube channel. Check us out on social media, and don't forget to check out the Birdwire 24/7. Only on the Castropolis Podcast Network. All right, Tommy B, I'm going to go watch American Fiction.
Big thanks to Tanya B., Vi Tlaib, and author and political analyst Harold Michael Harvey. Thanks, Hitman Howie, this week for filling in for Vi. Thanks to the crew, Millennial Nick, Lady J, Regia, music by K-Dub, all those who help us make it happen each and every single week. Thanks to our third Newsmaker trivia contestant, Linnell, who's actually from Lithonia, but via Cali, LA. Thank you so much for signing up with us. To sign up, you can do so at newsmakertrivia@castropolis.net. Win an autographed copy of the new book from author and political analyst Harold Michael Harvey. It's called Watch Night. Again, sign up at castropolis.net. Also, y'all, make sure you subscribe to the podcast and turn on notifications. Again, turn on notifications. It'll let you know whenever we have new episodes. And with that, episode 217 is in the can. Have a great week. Peace and power to the people.
You've been listening to This is the G Podcast. This is the G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.